You're brainwashed. She's in your way.
You're in my way. Ours are specialized. Angels can't pack our bags. Calm down, sacrificers. Wait, the lady squams guy.
Sir Ayowadam.
We went upstairs and started packing. My name is Hannah. I'm 42 years old. I used to have a job, but now I'm a stay-at-home mom because the plan was for me to keep working. However, my son was developing slowly, and I wanted to take care of him by myself. I quit my job when my son was 1 year old and have been a housewife ever since. I live with my mother-in-law. This cohabitation is something I knew before I got married to my husband. I thought my mother-in-law, and I had a good relationship until she pointed out the child's stunted growth. Now the relationship is a disaster. My husband Andy has gone on a long overseas business trip, and I have no one on my side. My mother-in-law's sarcastic attacks started when my son turned 1 year old. We still had a good relationship and went together to my son's first checkup at Storing Up, and there the doctor said to me, "Is he going to walk yet?" And my mother-in-law changed. The car ride home was quiet, and my mother-in-law was moody and clearly displeased the whole way. She wears her emotions on her sleeves. The doctor's words made her brow darken, and she became mute. After returning home, my mother-in-law's verbal abuse began.
I can't believe you gave birth to a handicapped son. I knew that an elderly mother would give birth to a son like this.
No, mothers, he's not handicapped. He's just...
Shut up. The doctor said he wouldn't walk yet.
They can't say that, but babies develop in all different ways. My mother said I was a slow walker too, and I started walking at 18 months old. Oh, now, Lenore. Every baby is unique. Isesham.
My mother-in-law stares at me.
That's what mothers of handicapped children often say. Disability is a personality. Are you kidding me? You know how embarrassing this is to me.
I resent my mother-in-law's comment. So.
Children are parents' treasure. No one has a child with a disability by choice. They have many conflicts and suffer from many hardships. Even so, when a child shows you a different side from yesterday, you should be happy for the growth of the child. Your comment is an insult to those who are doing their best to raise their children. My mother-in-law snickered.
Don't talk big to me. I don't care about others.
As you're embarrassed to face other people.
If you don't care about others, you should know that they don't matter because they are strangers.
You're really cheeky.
I didn't want you as my son's wife from the start.
I was upset that my mother-in-law could change so drastically at the slightest word from a doctor.
But I was sure this was her true nature. And from that day on, although we lived together, we never saw each other. I couldn't talk to my husband about it. Although she is verbally abusive, she's still an important mother to my husband. And because our relationship had been so good up to that point, talking to him on the phone would only create confusion. But I wanted my husband to focus on his work, so I decided to face my child alone. But things were not so easy. One day, my mother-in-law came to my room and complained.
Hey, you should put him in an institution.
With essential printers.
He's a handicapped child.
You think I would give him up?
I'm saying, I don't want to live with a handicapped child.
I mean, he's just taking some time to start walking.
He's got a lot of your grandmother's blood in him.
What my mother-in-law is trying to say was that my grandmother was blind. She was already blind when I was born, and now she's trying to tell me that I inherited her disability. It's true that she was totally blind. But that happened when she had Beckett's disease when my mother was still in elementary school. There's no proven inheritance of Beckett's Chase. When I got married, my grandmother came all the way to explain it to my mother-in-law. She deeply cared about me and told me Hannah's marriage would be ruined if she thought that my eyes were genetic. My grandmother has such a wonderful heart. Back then, even my mother-in-law said that I had a nice grandmother. But behind our back, my mother-in-law was thinking like that.
I thought at the time that I didn't want my grandchildren to inherit it.
Now see what is happening. I'm not kidding about the handicapped family.
You've got to be kidding me.
What are you talking about? I can't hear you.
Maybe your grandmother was a bad influence. Did she turn on your husband's mother like you were doing? Maybe that's what caught her blind.
And goodbye, Takabas. My grandma was bullied from a mother-in-law like you.
She barely got to eat and was thrown out barefoot in the cold northeast. She got sick from the stress because of a mother-in-law like you. She got sick from the stress because of a bitch like you. My mother-in-law flinched at my retort, but she was not defeated.
Oh, so her husband didn't protect her.
Your grandma is not a good judge of character.
He couldn't protect her. He checked spray to be protect her. Grandpa was drafted into Siberia.
When he returned home safely, he left his parents' house as soon as he found out the truth. But he couldn't make it in time. He regretted it until the day he died. He tried his best to take care of my grandma. Don't you disrespect my grandparents, you old hag?
They so pathetic.
Yeah, but bad it one. Now I know why your husband divorced you.
You're more pathetic than my grandmother, because your husband is still alive and well. You're the one who got dumped because of your arrogance.
Shut up. I won't accept a handicapped child anyway.
My mother-in-law went downstairs, her footsteps thumping.
I couldn't stay here any longer. I quickly called my parents' house and briefly explained the situation. Then I packed my bags and put on my shoes at the front door.
Oh, you are leaving?
Thanks to you. I learned a lot about my mother-in-law's true nature.
Please, take it easy on yourself. Oh, now you're alone again. Your husband is gone, your son is gone. Your daughter-in-law will also leave you. Yes, good luck. My mother-in-law, perhaps offended by my comment, was about to follow me out the front door, but I closed the door as hard as I could and left. When I arrived at a nearby cafe, my parents had already arrived. My parents had only one thing to say. Each child grows up differently. They welcomed me warmly. Later that night, I received a call from my husband.
My mom called me. She's very angry.
Oh, yes, Lake, dressed, Gio.
What happens? She's making a big deal about our child having a disability.
I'm sorry to bother you at work. Was got information.
Never mind. It's agrees that refuses.
You know, about 2 weeks ago, there was the 1-year-old's checkup.
I went with your mother, and the doctor told me that her son doesn't walk yet. When she heard that, she told me that he was handicapped because of my grandma's genetic disorder. I couldn't hold back my tears.
Yes, Raspy. I'm sorry I couldn't be there for you.
That's okay. It's okay.
I'm sorry about your grandma too. I'm sorry my mother said such horrible things about her.
But I was angry too. I took angry too.
I called her a bitch.
No, it's theirs. And yes, Mouse said, see store. Das where. This your bitch.
Then all kids grow up the same.
But yeah, I'm great.
I think that's true. Let's just take our time and see how our child grows up.
I think that's true. Let's just take our time and see how our child grows up. Next yours, I'm gonna head back out there in a few days. Just stay safe until I get back. My husband had the same opinion. That alone made me feel much better. I agreed with him and stayed away from my mother-in-law's house until he returned home. A week later, he came back temporarily. My husband directly came to my parents' house. Have you been okay since then? Has she done anything to you? No, I haven't gone back there. I hadn't heard from her. Well, that's good. I'm going to go talk to my mom about moving out. I'll go with you. Are you sure you're okay with that? Yeah, I've got some stuff I want to bring home and my mom can take care of our son. We headed to my in-laws' house together. When we arrived there, I found not only my mother-in-law, but also my sister-in-law. My mother-in-law was smiling at my husband, but her face towards me was as cold as ever. Welcome home. Can you stay a little longer this time? Why is my sister here too? Because we need to talk about the divorce. We need to talk about it as a family. No, I'm just packing up my stuff. I just came to tell you that I'm leaving. What? You're going to choose a crippled child over me. I'm your mother. Yeah, I know, and I'm ashamed of you. Having a low-level mother like you, you've been brainwashed. You're a real pain in the ass. Kenna, then you're in my way. Point. We're just gonna pack our bags. Come on. Kenna. Yeah, we went upstairs and started packing. Not long after that, my mother-in-law came upstairs too. Let me help you. You know, I think I was out of line. I want to see my grandchild regularly. Even if we have to live separately from now on, you should come to see me once in a while. What's gotten into her? She's suddenly become very sweet. I stared at my mother-in-law, but my husband completely ignored her. He's quietly packing his bags. Hannah, you left your things in my room. It must be the ring your grandmother gave you. You lent it to me once. Take it with you. I'll help you pack. I left my room and headed for the stairs. My sister-in-law was right in front of me. She was just going downstairs too. I was about to talk to her when she tripped on something and fell down the stairs. I rushed to the stairs as quickly as I could. What my sister-in-law tripped on was a transparent thread that had been intentionally set. I stepped over the transparent thread and ran to my sister-in-law. She fell on her face and was not moving. I left the scene to call an ambulance.
Oh, Hannah, you screwed up. Did you fall down the stairs?
My mother-in-law seemed to be standing at the top of the stairs. Why?
Anna, are you okay?
As you can see, I'm fine. But she's not. She fell down the stairs. Please call an ambulance. I ran back to my sister-in-law. I turned her onto her back. I was about to lay her down a little way from the stairs.
Oh my God. Why did it happen to you?
My mother-in-law screamed and tried to run down the stairs. Ask them.
Mother, note the thread. She caught on the thread with such force that she went flying through the air and took a huge leap off the staircase. Andy, no, the transparent thread is still there. How did this happen?
My mother-in-law was knocked to the floor with a mighty thumb.
Anna, can you call an ambulance? I'll call the police.
We had the best chance to be her.
The in-laws' house was in an uproar. 2 ambulances rushed to the scene, and even a police car. My sister-in-law was sent immediately to the hospital as she had a concussion. But fortunately, she was okay and only needs to recover from a broken right leg. However, my mother-in-law was badly injured and was left with a serious disability in the lower half of her body. If my sister-in-law had reported the incident, my mother-in-law would have received a prison sentence for sure. However, my sister-in-law did not file a report because she was concerned about what neighbors would say. I know that my mother-in-law set up the trap on the stairs against me, but it was not me who was caught in the trap. If my sister-in-law, who was the victim of the crime, did not want to charge my mother-in-law with the crime, I have no choice but to respect her decision. I have no sympathy for my mother-in-law who fell for her own trap. We felt our lives were in danger, so we insulated ourselves from my mother-in-law and officially moved to my parents' house. Because of that incident, my husband stayed with us for a couple of weeks, but when we found a place to live, he went back overseas again. I thought I could go on living without having to deal with my mother-in-law. However, I underestimated the way a criminal like my mother-in-law thinks. At a month after I started living with my parents, I received a call from a number I didn't recognize. I answered the phone, not realizing that it was my mother-in-law on the other end of the line.
Hello, it's me. It's been a while.
What's you want from us?
We were so angry. We're family.
We don't have a family members. It's like.
You've got to be kidding me.
I gotta go.
Wait a minute. You know what? I'm in trouble.
My daughter hasn't come to see me since then. My son is abroad, and I'm having a hard time making a living on my own.
How can she be so disrespectful?
I almost lost my life because of her. I can't.
Oh, now. I'm in your grandmother's shoes.
You must feel sorry for me. I'm a cripple too.
Why? It's Christian's.
Blood is rushing to my head. It's not the same. Don't you dare compare yourself with my grandmother. You set your own trap and you fell into it. It's called karma, and there's no one there to save you from being alone.
It's hard to live alone.
No, the 50 Carters or B. This phone number is new, isn't it?
You arranged it yourself. You can live on your own. Just don't call me again. No matter how many times you call, I won't pick up. My mother-in-law was still talking, but I hung up without hesitation. She was a person who only thought about herself to no end. I had no idea that one word from the doctor could change the future so much. But the doctor's insensitive comment revealed my mother-in-law's true nature. Sooner or later, it would have been impossible to hide it. Now, at 1 year and 3 months old, my son is beginning to waddle and walk. Growing up doesn't have to be average. Then, if he grows slowly, it's just fine if we take care of him slowly at his pace. I will continue to be grateful for the support I receive from the people around me. I'm going to live with my family of 3 at our own pace. To your mother-in-law, you have exactly what you deserve. I can't believe you fell for the trap you set yourself. Punishment really does come true, doesn't it?